If you are pregnant, listen up because there is an upcoming live pregnancy workshop available to help you prepare your body and pelvic floor for birth and beyond. We discuss ways to reduce risk of perineal tears and episiotomy. We learn how to reduce risk of pelvic floor trauma and, importantly, ways to support a strong postnatal recovery. This free workshop called Birth Strong is physio-created and designed to help you feel more confident and empowered about your upcoming childbirth experience. Head to fitnessedmama.com/pregnancy workshop and the link is in the show notes. Once more, that's www.fitnessedmama.com/pregnancy workshop, all one word. Can't wait to see you there. If you are pregnant or you've recently had a baby, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Kath Bequee, a physiotherapist working in women's health and mum of 3. Inside my online program, Fitness Mama, I just love helping support women to care for their bodies during pregnancy, prepare their bodies for birth, and support their after-birth recovery, helping them feel confident and strong inside out during this important stage of their lives. In this podcast, join me each week as we dive into all things pregnancy care, childbirth, and postnatal recovery, helping you through every step of the journey. It is absolutely possible to feel amazing and confident in our bodies during this motherhood journey, and I want that for you. Come and say hi to me on Instagram @fitnessedmama, and let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome back to the Pregnancy, Birth and Recovery podcast. So today, we're doing part 2 of preparing your pelvic floor for birth. So back in episode number 228, I discussed ways to help reduce your risk of incontinence, prolapse, and pelvic health concerns post-birth. And today, we're going to discuss ways to help reduce your risk of perineal tears and episiotomy. So we're going to discuss perineal massage, the benefits, and we're going to discuss ways to help reduce your risk, as I said, of perineal tears, in particular 3rd and 4th degree perineal tears and episiotomy. So if you are pregnant, if you're planning a vaginal birth, this episode is definitely for you. If you know someone who's pregnant, it would be definitely worth sending them through. I'm sure they would be very grateful because this is a topic I think we all need to know about. There's improving awareness, which is really exciting because there's so much we can do preventatively to help have a better outcome post-birth physically. This is why, like as a physio, I used to see all the women once they already had the concerns, the aches and pains, pelvic floor issues. And this is why I created my online program, Fitness Mama. But it's also why I'm doing this podcast, is because I wholeheartedly, 100% agree with the power of education, the power of prevention. Prevention's so much easier than cure. Just awareness also helps to improve outcomes as well. So let's get into it. The reason why I want to talk about perineal massage is because over 81% of women in Australia will have an episiotomy or a perineal tear during their first vaginal delivery. Before you get freaked out by those stats, the majority of these are 1st degree tears. So a 1st degree perineal tear is a small tear into the skin that may or may not require stitches. And the majority are also 2nd degree tears. So that extends slightly further into the muscle. Or, as I said, episiotomies. So 1st and 2nd degree tears, research shows us that they tend to recover really well with very few issues at all. And episiotomies tend to recover on par, like similar to a 2nd degree tear. So 81% of women in Australia who have their first birth will have some degree of an episiotomy or perineal tear. But the majority of these are relatively minor first and second degree tears. So only around 3% of women in Australia will experience a third or fourth degree perineal tear. So this is a tear that extends a bit further into the anal sphincter. And these are the tears that tend to have the bigger risk factors in terms of increased risk of anal incontinence, fecal incontinence, like flatal incontinence, so that inability to hold in wind. So with these third and fourth degree perineal tears, that's when we tend to be more at risk of pelvic floor conditions, pelvic floor concerns post-birth, such as incontinence, but also fecal incontinence, bowel incontinence, the flatal incontinence, that inability to hold in wind. So these symptoms can have a more significant impact on our life. So as I said, only 3% of women do experience a third or fourth degree perineal tear. And I could talk all day about this because there's strong risk factors in terms of, I wasn't going to get into this in today's podcast episode, but in terms of genetics and family history, I'm going to quickly just say, have a quick conversation with the women in your house. If you're pregnant, if you're wanting vaginal birth, check in with your mother, check in with your sister, check in with any aunts. Just ask, how did you recover after birth? Because if they had a third or fourth degree perineal tear, if they had a really difficult birth, if they've ended up having to have a hysterectomy because of prolapse concerns, maybe that's an indication, maybe not, but maybe there's a family history. So that might be something worth discussing and having a conversation, opening up that conversation with your healthcare provider so that you can talk to your healthcare provider about your personal risks involved with vaginal birth. But I got sidetracked because I did just want to say as well, and this is what today's episode is about, luckily, there are evidence-based ways that you can also reduce your risk of third and fourth degree perineal tears and episiotomy. So this is really exciting. So to clarify, I don't want to freak anyone out here because this is really exciting news. To clarify, there's only a small percentage of women, it's only a small likelihood that women do experience a larger third or fourth degree perineal tear. But luckily, there's evidence-based ways that can reduce the severity or risk of perineal trauma. So this is why we're discussing perineal massage. So perineal massage is a technique that can be used during pregnancy to help stretch the skin and the muscles in the perineum. And to clarify, the perineum is that area between the vagina and the anus. It's that patch of skin, that muscle. So it's not a hole. It's the soft tissue, the fascia between your vagina and your anus. So perineal massage can help to stretch this area and also get your mind and body used to that sensation of stretch so that there is a reduced risk of tearing and episiotomies during childbirth. There's also evidence that perineal massage can support and better wound healing and also less perineal pain post-delivery too. So this is really exciting. So I'm going to just talk about the benefits one more time. I'm going to list them all in dot form. So 1, you've got a lower risk of episiotomy. And ladies, I do just want to clarify, this is for first-time mothers because they're the first-time mothers are the mothers that tend to have the higher risk. So once more, I'm going to list the benefits of perineal massage. So there's a lower risk of episiotomy, there's a reduction in perineal tear, so a lower risk in third and fourth degree perineal tears in particular, there's better wound healing, there's less perineal pain post-delivery, there's a reduction in the second stage labour length of time, and this is really beneficial outcomes for pelvic floor as well. And there's also a reduction in anal incontinence, like I mentioned before. So this is for first-time mothers. This is based on a systematic review in 2020. So I will link the systematic review in the show notes if you're interested in diving into a bit of research. Okay, so in terms of some common questions that come up about perineal massage, I do just want to quickly say I cover this inside the app, inside Fitness Mama, and I show you and demonstrate on a model exactly how to do perineal massage for yourself, or if you want, how to involve your partner. And there is a free 7-day trial. And the reason I offer that is because I really want this information to be accessible to all women. I just think there's such beautiful power in helping to improve birth outcomes, we know from research, but also, and perhaps equally important, it's really comforting to know. I personally think it can be really great at helping to reduce anxiety and improve a woman's feeling of empowerment. So, perineal massage tends to be started, in the literature they discuss from 34 weeks of pregnancy onwards. I tend to recommend from 35, 36 weeks, but I do also recommend you check in with your doctor beforehand to see if it's the right thing for you, because there are some medical conditions where it isn't recommended you do perineal massage. So do just check in with your doctor, and it tends to be done around twice a week. This is what's recommended in research, twice a week for around 5 minutes at a time. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and discuss how the way I teach this inside Fitness Mama, it's a little bit different to how you might find if you Google this or other providers recommend it. Because the thing is, if you're massaging anything for 5 minutes twice a week, we talk about how this helps to stretch out the area, but really is 5 minutes twice a week going to make much difference? So this is where I really do believe it's not necessary, and this is where research is pointing in this direction too, because it's not necessarily about how much stretch you're getting. It's about that awareness of how much tension we're holding in our pelvic floor muscles. So this can be a really lovely way to have a bit of self-awareness, I guess, for want of a better word, but for a way to help you realize how much tension you can hold. So to clarify, when we zip up our pelvic floor muscles, they're lifted, they're tense. When we relax our pelvic floor muscles, they're released and open. And when we're giving birth, we really don't want that muscle tension in our pelvic floor. We want that beautiful, soft, relaxed, open pelvic floor so that the birth canal can open and make way for the baby to descend through the birth canal. This is a podcast. As I said, come and check out the free trial. I talk you through perineal massage, and also we've got a whole module of workouts for this last trimester of pregnancy that includes pelvic floor awareness, exactly like what I'm talking about, pelvic floor exercises, but importantly, ways to help reduce that tension in your pelvic floor, ways to help relax your pelvic floor muscles. So exercises and workouts that have a beautiful, whole body workout, but then at the end of every workout, we focus on deep, diaphragmatic breathing, pelvic floor relaxation, and beautiful relaxation strategies that can also be used during childbirth. So I've got a beautiful Preparing for Birth module inside Fitness Mama, and you can join it free for 7 days. So quickly going to run through, I think there's 6 more quick techniques apart from, in addition to perineal massage, 6 other quick techniques that you can also do to help potentially reduce your risk of 3rd and 4th degree perineal tears and episiotomy. So number 1 is to stay active during pregnancy. Stay strong, stay fit, stay moving as much as possible. Again, this is exactly why I've got Fitness Mama, because women that find it hard to stay active during pregnancy are the women who have got pelvic girdle pain, women who are perhaps feeling nauseous and not feeling great, perhaps they're second-time mums or third-time mums who are busy with toddlers, Perhaps they're women that have demanding work schedules and it's perhaps their first pregnancy, they've got demanding work and they're just finding it hard to fit in the time to exercise. And this is where home-based workouts can be perfect because we know staying active during pregnancy helps to reduce pelvic floor outcomes post-birth. So exciting. Okay, number 2 is to stay active and upright in the first stage of labour. Number 3 is the perineal massage that I've talked about. Number 4, lying on your side or 4-point kneeling during labour. Number 5 is using a warm compress during labour. And both those 2 things that I just mentioned in terms of the position that you're in during the pushing phase, but also using warm compress for labour, I do encourage you to chat with your healthcare team about that and about your wishes and your thoughts and talk to them about, because they know you and your individual situation perfectly. And then finally, the relaxation techniques during labour. And this is again something we cover inside Fit Nest Mama. So that's the pelvic floor relaxation, that breathing, that visualisation. Perhaps a TENS machine will be helpful for this. Perhaps it's mantras or like beautiful affirmations. There's lots of different relaxation techniques. Okay, ladies, that topic that I've just discussed can sometimes, I think, unearth some anxieties. I hope that this episode today helped you to feel better about it all. If you are concerned about your particular situation, whether or not it's a family history or whatever it might be, please, I highly encourage you to go and speak to your healthcare provider, your doctor. But also it might be worth checking in with your local women's health pelvic floor physio so that they can do a pelvic floor assessment during pregnancy to help determine your particular situation. So they can perhaps provide some reassurance about your pelvic floor muscle strength and your ability to relax your muscles, your level of tension. They can help to provide some really practical strategies that are perfectly personalised for that situation. Otherwise, you know where to come and find me. It's fitnessmama.com. We've got a 7-day free trial. That's it, ladies. The part 3 of this Preparing for Birth series, I'm going to talk about the power of postnatal rehab and how that will help your pelvic floor recover. It will help you return to running. It will help with supporting your postnatal recovery, getting your body stronger again. It will help with sexual intercourse, all those side of things, and it will be a really great episode. So stay tuned for that upcoming episode where we're discussing more the postnatal rehab side of things post-birth to support your pelvic floor recovery. That's it, ladies. Have a fabulous week, and I will catch you very soon for another episode of the Pregnancy, Birth and Recovery podcast. Thanks for listening to the Fit Nest Mama podcast, brought to you by the Fit Nest Mama freebies found at www.fitnestmama.com/free. So please take a few seconds to leave a review, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and be sure to take a screenshot of this podcast, upload it to your social media, and tag me at Fit Nest Mama so I can give you a shout out too. Until next time, remember, an active pregnancy, confident childbirth, and strong postnatal recovery is something that you deserve. Remember our disclaimer, materials and contents in this podcast are intended as general information only and shouldn't substitute any medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. I'll see you soon.